Kurek with Frontrunners Innovate. And as you know, we do like to bring people to you from around the world who are doing big things, who are creating greater good and impact wherever they go. And we have such a fabulous example of that right now with us today. So please meet UN Ambassador Fawad Ali Langah, if I said that correct. He's from Pakistan, and welcome. I'm going to call you Ambassador Fawad because I know you. So, and the way that I know him is through an organization called Youth.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we work on an international board together for youth development around the world. And so it's no surprise to me that when I dug into the ambassador's background, I found a lot of youth-related endeavors and awards. But more importantly, it's more about humanitarian work. And so we wanted to kind of bring him to you as the viewers and the audience to get to know the type of work that's going on with the United Nations, because a lot of people don't know the breadth of what's happening there. And to get to know an individual who is doing more than his part. And that is the ambassador here. So Ambassador Fawad, welcome, and please share with us a little bit about your background and what brought you to this type of work.
Thank you very much, first of all, Mary, for giving me this opportunity, because on not very often, but on a very rare occasion, I've got a privilege to tell the people about myself, like where did I start, what I'm doing, and what is my vision to move ahead. And of course, you have given me a privilege for that, of course. I must say it all started in late 2009 when I've been introduced actually with this Model United Nations platform, which we call the simulation of United Nations, and the different children and of course different youth educates are actually organizing videos with this Model United Nations platform. And time by time getting into the different conferences and get to know more in deep about the United Nations. So actually that time I was pursuing my bachelor's degree in telecommunication networks, like IT degree. So that's a huge way, that's a different way, like opposite side from IT to international relations.
Yeah.
So, and then I found myself after pursuing first year of my degree, I said, I think I'm not a right person who are actually born for the IT field. I think I have to switch myself to another thing, which is I'm more like into. And I found more pleasure and more good into the United Nations side, actually, because that's like all those time having different conferences and international recognitions. And still I said, let me drag it. Let's see how this is going, because people are going to start laughing, because, you know, on some occasion, the society does have the taboos. The taboos, it says like, why did you get yourself into when you don't like it? So such thing really influenced on my mind at that time. So I was keep dragging myself, but simultaneously, I was doing with all my conferences, doing different social working, humanitarian work. And like, I know that one day maybe it will click to me. So fortunately, after that, yeah, it does, of course, it does. So when I dragged myself, finished my, instead of 4 years, but 5 years of my bachelor's degree, I've applied to the different university in London to get more myself into the international relations side, because that time I said, like, now I'm quite mature in this Model UN field. I think I will be able to satisfy myself and survive myself, rather to just to keep dragging myself into the IT side. So like before I just jumped into the IR, in 2012, the biggest thing what I've came across is actually I was only Pakistani student in 2012, which has been selected and been invited by the United Nations headquarters in New York to attend their 15 days first Model United Nations workshop at New York headquarters. That was the biggest achievement that I found it. And I found more myself comfort, like I think I'm on the right path, because the recognitions are coming, the achievements are coming, people are satisfying, parents are more delighted that yes, I'm getting recognitions and all those things, and then so on to that. Even on the same year, I've been appointed by the Geneva House, called the Geneva International Model United Nations. I've been appointed as the trainer for the OIC, Organization for Islamic Cooperation, where I've trained about 65 youth delegates who were simulating the OIC actually. So that when I come across with these biggest achievements, then I said, I think I'm on the right path. Let's go for it. Change the field from IT to IR, drag myself, jump into that. And fortunately, I was lucky enough. I've done my master's degree in international relations from London, Middlesex University, UK, in Master's International Relations. On top, I did 2 certifications. One is in public policy economics from University of Oxford, and the second one from University of London in global diplomacy. So this is how it works actually. So this is how I drag myself. Then I keep jumping into the different humanitarian side. Doesn't matter profit or not profit, just try to get myself where I can utilize my skills, where I can help the people, whatever I've been blessed with, what I've earned for investing myself, wherever. At that time, doesn't matter whether I've been paid, doesn't matter I will not be paid. At least what I have been earned, I should have to give to the society. I should have to give to the others, so at least they could come up with that. And that is the reason, like, I do share my own life experience with different students while counseling them. Like, see, I mean, people who thinks that they cannot drag themselves, they cannot like somehow trust on their abilities. They think like whatever they have choose, maybe they took a wrong decision, but they are still not surviving. They are still not satisfied, but they are keep dragging. No, not at all. I must say, I'm the biggest example for that, because Model United Nations, when I've started, it became my passion, which I changed them into my profession. And today, I'm also known as the recognized consultant and the trainer for Model UN across the globe. So I've changed my passion to my profession. And today I've got another things to get myself surviving across. And that actually leads me to become, after the 13 years of struggling, debating, traveling, and now became the United Nations diplomat under the Federation International Gender and Human Rights, just about like a month before I've been appointed with this position. So that's the whole story and the whole struggle of 13 years.
I'm going to ask you a personal question. How old are you?
Mary, guess about it. Come on, take a guess. How do you think?
20.
More
32.
Like, I mean, last month, 7th April, 10 to 33 actually.
Oh, wow. You're so young, but you hit your path early in life. And even though you were heading into a different direction, you were pulled. You were pulled in a certain direction. And it was because whatever was in you, I think, had the heartbeat for it in the first place. You already had the heartbeat going in that direction.
Yeah, that's the case. And even Mary, even before jumping to the IT field, guess what? I was supposed to, I had a dream to serve the defense forces, to be the Pakistan Air Force GDP pilot. And eventually I've been selected for that. But at the end, I've been screwed out. Doesn't matter. So there was like a bit ups and downs of my career. But at the end, what I'm doing, I'm satisfied. I'm serving my nation. My parents are happy. My missus, my children are happy what I'm doing. At the end of the day, I'm getting and I'm running my house, and I'm satisfied with that, because whatever I've thought, whatever is my passion, I am actually doing what is my passion into that.
You're contributing, and it shows. You can't hide that smile that you're just emanating off of the screen to me. You're just,
yeah, of course.
You can't hide that. That's real. You know, you mentioned the Federation. You also carry some titles with some other entities. Tell us about the Institute of Peace and Development, what that is, and how they granted you also the title, His Excellency and Ambassador. So tell us a little about that.
certainly about that INSPAD, like Institute of Peace and Development, actually. In 2019, actually, there was a Sheikh Zayed conference in Dubai. So in Sheikh Zayed conference Dubai, they always put the nominees, they entitle and give the Sheikh Zayed Peace Award. Because of my all voluntary work, and we Pakistani nation, we Pakistani country, work very hard against war against the terrorism. And if we go also, like, I mean, having the green passport, and it's now the things has been changed, but I'm telling you earlier, of course, they think this is something really bad. Unfortunately, the image of my country was not very, very good, even though after 9/11, I would say that.
Yeah.
But slightly, time by time, the image has been better. Our nation, our country had been working very hard at fighting against this terrorism. And believe me, so far I've traveled more than 25 countries just because of different UN projects, different UN conferences, and United Nations conferences. What my merely focus is, I am actually the representative of my own nation. Whatever I am behaving, the way I am, you can say, giving the hospitality or showing myself, at the end of the day, it shows my nation, my country. So always try to be showing the greater and the better picture, what is the actual of my country. And that is why I've been nominated in 2019, the Sheikh Zayed Peace Award, and I've been awarded as the most prestigious award known as Sheikh Zayed Peace Award in 2019. Once I've got this award, then I've been nominated for that Institute for Peace and Development, and then I've been entitled to be the Peace Ambassador as well because of my traveling and, of course, portraying my country image as the peaceful country across the globe. This is how actually this peace ambassadorship is going on. And then meanwhile, having plenty of peace conferences, which I attended, and give the actual picture, like how my country is actually working in order to save their sovereignty and the integrity. Like, we are a peaceful nation. We welcome peaceful relationship. We never said like we are up to the war or we are against or we are, no, not at all. We always fight against the terrorism. And indeed, we are the peaceful nation. This is how actually, so that activities actually clicked, and they have recognized my all achievements, and the blessing has came from the God, and I've been nominated as a peace ambassador. I must say.
You have been blessed in that arena, that's for sure.
Indeed.
It's not easy work either. If you're traveling all over, we know because we do global projects from my organization, and largely in third world countries. We just were able to activate some of our friends in the Frontrunners League, which is my community, to help get some oxygen concentrators over to India because they're just dying so fast. And then we activate to do some entrepreneurship programs with my business partner, who is Dr. Osita Anamika in Nigeria. I don't know if you knew that. He's my business partner in Nigeria.
Oh, that's amazing. Professor Osita is an amazing guy. He's an amazing guy.
Big heart, such a big heart.
He's very nice.
I interviewed him for my media platform probably about 3.5, 4 years ago, and that's how we got to know each other. And then we started working on mentorship programs together, and we have a Daughters Global mentorship program going on now, where we've got mentees in Nigeria, Tanzania, India, and the UK right now. So it will hopefully, once we get it out of pilot in August, we can make it fly a little bit better. But it fell on us. We did not seek it out. We had fathers, not mothers for the most part, but fathers who were introducing their 14, 15-year-old daughters to us and asking, would we help grow them, help giving them some connections from around the world, so they'd be having some opportunities they wouldn't normally have. And that's why I'm not sure if you were on a call when we had Namara from Tanzania on. She's one of our mentees. She was 13 years old when we introduced her to a youth together board and asked her to have commentary because she wants to be a public speaker and advocate. She blew everybody away. 13 years
Wow.
old, and she blew everybody away. She's going to lead that country someday. And that's
Yeah, I
our,
must say, these are the young guns. And then
yes,
actually, I mean, we are seeing quite often such young guns these days,
yes,
literally.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got, one thing that we are doing right now, Ambassador, is we're putting together a global girls poetry booklet. So we're seeking poems from girls 13, 14, 15 years old around the world, asking them to send them in on what is most present in their mind. It might be a big issue, or it might be just an event. It might be something passionate or not. And what we're doing is we're going to put it together, and it'll be a gift for the United Nations. And Dr. Anamika said it would go through an ambassador. He may ask you to deliver it, but what we're doing is gifting it to the United Nations so they can see what's on the minds of these young girls around the nation. And it's their gift. And also we have the blessing and endorsement of the DeSable Museum out of Chicago, which is the United States' largest African-American History Museum. And we're working with them to try to do a project.
So you got the cultural heritage side as well, I must say. It is something really amazing. It is something really great.
Well, I'll tell you what's been fascinating, because we've asked 2 of the Daughters Global mentees to produce the project. We wanted to see them working together, one from India, one from Tanzania, one younger than the other. They're both poets. I put them together with a Pulitzer nominated poet to start the ball rolling, and so that they could hear from him, how you put together poems, and what the structure should be and all that. They listened intently. They asked great questions. We're in the process of finalizing. We probably have about 30 poems now from girls. It's surprising to see the level of despair in some of the poems. I'll be honest with you. If you ask 13, 14-year-olds what's on their mind, and to share through artistry, you're going to get whatever is deep. You're going to get what's the deepest thing. So some of it's very, let's just say, enlightening and kind of scary, to be honest. That's what's on their mind. Some of it we'll have to kind of edit out, because we're going to get parental consent to be able to publish. But the others will go to the UN so that they can see this is what's on the minds of girls in Africa, in certain areas of Africa, or in certain areas of India, or wherever it may be. Cool. So that's kind of our aim there. So we're aligned with the whole idea of, you raise global citizens, you're going to get global citizens. And that's what we're all about. From your story now, so where you're seated right now, what are the projects you're working on that are most priority, I guess, right now?
Well, of course, I mean, the biggest priority for me, of course, is the biggest responsibility, which I've been just blessed with, that to be the UN diplomat. And indeed, it was like a dream comes true. But as it says, like, big power comes with a big responsibility. And you have to be more check and balance, more giving more priorities into that, somehow pause all different activities and more concentrating, because at the end of the day, your passion has become your profession, fortunately. So you have to work on to that. And of course, policy making is one of my core area, and I like to make the policies into that. And when it comes to when I've been introduced with all those fellowships, thanks to our amazing mother, I must say, more inspirational, Her Excellency Dr. Amina, the lead advocate of that Federation International to Gender and Human Rights, of course. And I've been introduced with her quite a long time, but then, of course, came out with the fellowship, and did almost about 1.5 year fellowship, which is about to creating 2021. So being a male in a society, giving the right to the women, giving the voice to the women, I just self to let's work on to that. Let's work on such policies which gives a great comfort to the women, to the lady, to the sister, mother, and to the wife. Indeed, I mean, something, but literally I really enjoyed, and I feel was the one who made a great policy for the 2022, and with a great maternal crisis policy, which we have NGOs. We talk with different frontliners during the crisis like this COVID-19. So it was a very long period and very enjoyable, which I've learned. And at the end of the day, the blessing comes into that. And now I've been appointed the United Nations diplomat under this FIGHR. So my area now actually pertaining to the Pakistan side is to be more responsible on the behalf of the United Nations to work on such areas where our Pakistan country is actually lacking into the maternal crisis plans or maternal crisis policy.
Okay.
We need to move into the regulatory affairs. We need to somehow emphasizing and urging all those areas which our medical system, our medical institution are actually lacking in order to cope up with this certain situation where a mother or wife or lady does face when it comes to the pregnancy issues actually. Especially when we talk about the remote areas or the rural areas or suburban areas actually. And then bearing in mind, we do have the issue of the ratio or high ratio of the poverty, unfortunately. Okay. So what we are actually moving focus is to get ourselves more into the deep, more based, and get our people knows about the basic human rights actually, and then jump into the gender equality. So this is how actually we are first planning into that. We are going to take the ministries on board. We are going to take the different educational institutions on board, different non-profit and even the profit organizations to make them aware about itself, the gender inequality, as well as the basic human rights. That is the first mission for us, being an ambassador of the United Nations under the mission of the Pakistan for the FIGHR, that is Federation International. So it's a long plan. And I've just finished about 6 months planning. And the base thing is actually to take all those decision makers, all those regulatory authority on board with us and to make them aware about like, this is something very needed. And this is what our society does need it in order to recognize, in order to give the empowerment to the women and to recognize their efforts and their work as well. And then that's more into the health side and medical sciences related as well. So that's what we are actually working and we are tying up with the different ministries and
large order of business. So in so doing, that's a large chunk of work to do when you're really talking about shifting mindsets and creating new paradigms for belief systems for people, decision makers on down to the users, the people themselves. Of the medical system and whatnot, then you can make room for innovation. When you can get the mindset shifted all the way around, then you can make room for solutions. You make room for innovations.
It does. And in fact, one of the biggest issue right now is the aftermath of COVID-19, unfortunately. It actually brutally destroyed the medical system throughout the world, not particularly to the Pakistan, I must say, throughout the world. But I believe as the SDG educate, as the SDG trainer, I would say, these amazing 17 goals, which I always teach to my students as well. And whenever I've got a platform to speak about the SDGs as an SDG educate and the trainer as well, I must say that the governments, the countries has to put forward more investment on these amazing 17 goals. Because now the COVID period is over. We got the vaccinations. We can have the vaccination. We can start working on to that. No doubt. Things are getting better, slightly getting better. Hopefully we'll be back in order, but it will take time. Or perhaps we have to adopt this, unfortunately, COVID-19, just like polio, just like HIV AIDS, unfortunately. But at the end of the day, we have to progress. And the best framework and the best footstep for us is to adopting the targets of the SDGs as well. That is what I believe so. That is what I think as the SDG educate. Like if we invest on amazing targets and those indicators, I'm sure we will be able to be back in order our GDP, our economy very soon, very quickly, whatever happened like aftermath of this COVID-19, I must say. That's a good thing. And one of the key thing which I just would like to share into that, like I am actually working on the proposal for my PhD, because it is one of my dream to be the PhD. So being an IR student, I said like, let's jump myself into the SDG side. And then I must say, fortunately, thanks to the COVID-19, God forbid it was even the curse, but it actually gave me time to research, to work more about SDGs seriously. And in the duration of about 1.5 years, which is just like about the COVID period, of course. So I have managed to find myself like, I mean, I'm in love with these SDGs, seriously. I'm in love with the SDGs. And even this COVID-19 have given me a very good topic to work more areas, to give more enhancement to the SDG, is to revising and reaffirming about the capacity building and capacity development.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have witnessed very brutally this pandemic has violated the capacity building, the capacity development, unfortunately, like about the health system, the development system, the education system, unfortunately, and the economic, I would say. So that's what I have chose my research work for my PhD to. I think let's revise and reaffirm those specific goals of the SDGs in order to support the capacity building and capacity development. So let's see, I'm putting my application into the different university, and hopefully, I'm sure very soon I've been accepted, and I'm going to be going to be a PhD candidate very soon.
Yes.
And that's how actually it works into this. Again, the passion works into that.
Let me ask you this. When you make application for your PhD, do you have to go ahead and give them a theme of a project or a program that you're doing?
I usually at this stage, I'm inquiring about different universities, because there are some universities who does with the PhD, and they are in a large way who are actually not much into that. So I'm actually digging those universities who are working, who does have these centers and institutions work for the SDG side, where I can put in my application and telling like, this is my area of the topic. And now I seek the guidance, I seek the supervisor, where I can somehow prepare my research work under the supervision, giving my learning, giving my expertise and exposure to them, and work on to that area, I must say. And maybe I would say, Mary, with your platform, maybe I've been approached with by
any of the I can tell you right now, we're on this.
Seriously, I would say like, I would be humble with that, seriously, because I believe this is the key area that we have to work. And then eventually, I must say, maybe we have to come up with any goal X, something like that. It could be the pandemic goal. Because what we have observed, these pandemics does come every 100 years, like a 1 century. So the mankind and the human beings need to be prepared themselves now. So it could be a goal that could be introduced, which only be triggered when unfortunately such goals does occur, I must say. So it could give a less you can say loss of the human life, and of course the loss of the different countries, I must say.
I agree. I have an idea for you, so we'll talk about that after the, the recording.
Sure, of course.
But let me ask you this very pointed question. Who do you need? Who do you need to meet that will help you move forward with the work that you're doing now?
I must say those people who are more into in this area, because the same like-minded people will do better things rather to explaining someone else who doesn't know, I must say. So if the people who are actually doing with the same area, I actually seek their guidance and I actually seek their expertise in order to enhance my learning and my knowledge and to share my expertise.
Anywhere in the world?
I don't mind any gender, any race. I'm a very globalized person, very diversified person.
Ask. Wonderful. We're going to help you get that message out there. You're terrific. I love you. I'm so glad that we serve on the same board together and that I was able to get to know you. But I just listening to you talk the few times that we've been on the board meeting together, I just thought I need to get to know this gentleman more and kind of bring his story out. I just sensed there was a story going on, and what a great story. I love it.
I'm honored with that, Mary.
Yeah, this is great. Well, I look forward to keeping up with you and finding out. I know that the PhD thing is happening. You've already launched that rocket, and it's up there. It's going.
Yes.
So yeah, that's happening. Where we think that we can be most help is connecting you forward with some of the people that can help you move what you're doing forward and get your Pakistani story out there and help you with the mission that you have right inside of Pakistan of changing some mindsets and creating, I don't know, let's just say a movement, if you will, of what needs to happen in your country, because I think what you're talking about is going to require something on that scale. To me, it needs to be a movement. And I've got just the person who's done something like that in another country. So,
that's great. That's great.
Okay.
That's great.
So anyway, thank you so much for letting us spend a few minutes with you. If you'll hang on, I'm going to end this. We're going to drop into the description any of the links that Ambassador would like to share with us so that you can follow that. You can certainly find him on LinkedIn. So that'll be in the description if you're seeing this on YouTube. It will also be on our media platform, www.frontrunnersinnovate.com, where you can spend some more time with him and get to meet some other folks just like him who are making changes in the world that we need to make. So thank you, everybody. And thank you, Ambassador. We'll be
Thank you, Mary. Thank you for giving me an opportunity for sharing my life. And I wish you good luck with that. And anytime, I'm always there. Whatever the best I can to do to serve the humanity, to serve my motherland, my world, of course, I'm always there to serve them. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.